closing matters, we will start with due diligence. So we're assuming now that you have a agreed upon contract signed by the buyer, seller, and a down payment has been made. So there's money in escrow. That money is subject to return based on things like financing, the due diligence period, and perhaps other contingencies in the contract. So your job as agent now will be to take that the deal from contract signing to closing. In order to get there, we have some important items to complete. It's your job to be a guide, to be a liaison, and get these things done. Occasionally, you may run into situations where it's the listing agent's job. They don't do their job. You're going to have to do it for that agent, or maybe the job doesn't get done. So in other words, by taking this course, I'm going to teach you how to do everything. Some listing agents haven't been well trained. They don't understand how. So you can either teach them or do it for them. But either way, we're going to start with the due diligence. Due diligence is a term that means the buyer has the right under the contract to review information about the business to make sure that it coincides with the listing and the buyer understands exactly what they are buying. And the due diligence clause in the contract will say the due diligence date starts now. However that is, it could be on a certain date, it could be a certain amount of days after signing, it could be, it could start upon request, etc. So you would have to read the contract to know when and how the due diligence starts. The due diligence period runs for a certain amount of time. It's normally 1 to 2 weeks. It can be longer. It can be, basically it's an agreed upon time, so there's no limit to how long it could be. But we generally find it 1 to 2 weeks because it's basically a document review period, and you can have an accountant do it, or the buyer can do it herself. It's up to how the buyer wants to proceed. So since it's a document review period, it doesn't take that long to review documents. It may take longer to get a date from your accountant to do it. So that's why it may be up to 2 weeks. And it's generally tax returns, the lease, vendor agreements.